fair warning before I begin, this recording that I'm about to play is rambly and long and very often doesn't make sense. I tried to make it as concise as possible. It didn't really work. I'm sorry. So please bear with me. Thank you. Let's go. Okay, hello everyone. This is Naj, and I am doing a sequel of sorts to the menu guide series. So people asked me how I navigate around Rhythm Heaven DS, and I'm hoping to try to brush up on my skills because, as I've addressed in the comments, I actually haven't played DS in a really long time. So this is going to be just about as much of a learning experience for me as it will be for you, I think, because I'll be messing around trying to figure out where to go quite a lot of the time. So, yeah. Okay, first thing I want to address is that I'm using Desmumi at the moment. Now, I know that Desmumi is not as power efficient as Melon DS is. I actually have a copy of Melon DS. I tested it out. But the reason why I'm using Desmumi is because my computer is powerful enough to run it well enough to the point where if I have it set to dual SPU and I hold the tab key down, it'll turbo ridiculously quickly. Well, not ridiculously quickly, but at least 2 times as quickly, which is more than enough for me. So it can go ahead a little bit faster than normal without skipping most of the time. Melon DS can go faster, yes, but it also sounds the worst I think I've ever heard a DS ever sound. It even sounds worse than real hardware, as we've figured out. So, if you want sound quality, use Desmumi, please. And that's what I'm going to be doing in this recording. So, that's one thing. The other thing, 2 things out of 3, I want to talk about these 2. Okay, next. Touching the screen. So, there's 2 different, mods, or whatever you want to call them, that you can use to play this game, make it slightly easier on you with an emulator. One is the Lua script, the Rhythm Heaven no-touching Lua script, which I think I still have in my keybase somewhere in the dependencies for Rhythm Heaven DS zip somewhere. I don't know where that is. That has gone a little bit odd in the last few years. On my computer, especially, it lags out horribly. It's like I press a button. It's supposed to make it so that you can use the D-pad and the A and B buttons and things to move around instead of using the screen, but it lags out very badly, I might add. So it's not worth playing with that, or at least on this setup it isn't. Instead, I applied a patch to this ROM, which makes it Rhythm Heaven touchless now. The touchless patch, however, only works inside a game. It is on the hardware level, yes, but it only works inside the game, which means all the menu navigation is still screen-based, which is a thing, and that's what I'm using right now. So I'm going to have to use the mouse for most things. As a result, you're going to be hearing this a lot. Pause. Yeah, mouse coordinates time. So if you find that annoying, well, I can't really tell you where else things are without it. So you're just going to have to get used to it. Another thing is that this game can get quite loud, so I'm going to attempt to talk over it. I don't know if it's going to work. Third thing out of 3. I have, when I started playing Rhythm Heaven DS back in 2017, yes, it's been over 5 years, 5.5 years now. When I started playing, I accidentally pressed the rotate button once, and I made my screen left-handed instead of right-handed. And after that, I kind of forgot or didn't understand how the rotate button ever worked, so I kept it that way, and I learned the layout that way, and plus add this to the fact that this game is meant to be played 90 degrees, rotated 90 degrees to the left anyway, because you're supposed to hold the DS like a landscape thing instead of a portrait thing, which usually that's not how games are played. So if you would like to have the full experience and actually play it the way you're supposed to hold the DS, or play it on real hardware, I would recommend you you basically interpolate everything I say and make it so that you rotate every direction 90 degrees to the right, because I'm going to be basically playing rotated 90 degrees to the left from the normal position, or at least I think. I might be wrong on this. What I do know is that just like in every other Rhythm Heaven game except Megamix, the games in a row go from bottom to top. In my case, well, it's a bit more complicated than that, but the first 3 rows at least, they go from right to left instead. So if you rotate the screen 90 degrees to the right, you'll get to the point where you'll be able to play the games from bottom to top instead, which is how they're supposed to be laid out. But I am just the way I am, and I don't want to change my setup, so please, if you want to actually play this game properly, quote-unquote, then rotate every single direction I say 90 degrees to the right. Okay, so, without further ado, let's open this thing. Oh! I didn't expect this much lag. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe it doesn't run as well as I think it does. Odd. Anyway, after having messed with this for like 5 minutes trying to figure out what was happening, I just now realized I wasn't running it in full screen mode. So of course, it wouldn't be, the screen wouldn't be accurate, but I finally got it to work, thankfully, after having figured out that I had to put it into full screen first. So, this is the title screen. There's 2 things you can do here. One of them is in the very middle, right here. You tap this thing and it makes a noise. We'll get to this in a bit, but first, there's one more thing in this window. Let me see if I can find it. There, it's on the top left. If you click it, it's going to ask you if you want to rotate the screen. And I don't. So... I'm going to see if I can find where the no button is. Because I haven't done this in a while. There, it's still on the top. So, if you go here, you click it, and if you don't want to, you go there. Still in the middle, but a little bit further up. So, that's the no button, and if you, by any chance, do want to, you go slightly lower down. Okay, next thing is this thing. The way to enter the game is you have to flick this thing. You have to physically grab hold of it, flick it, and I have to flick it to the left instead of flicking it up like you normally do. So, I just tap the mouse down, and then flick to the left and let go. Like that. Now let me show you, I'm going to reset from here, and I'm going to show you an interesting thing you can do. So, I'm back here, and if I just move it around, it makes a weird noise, for one. For the other, if you flick a little bit less forcefully, or in the wrong direction, it will do that. Basically, the ball is trying to go towards the target, but it's not, it doesn't have enough power, so it just kind of bounces up, and then it gravitates towards the ground because it didn't get enough energy from your flick. It's one of those little weird things that this game does. And if you do it with enough force, there, you're in. Now, as you can hear, the file select music just got slightly quieter, and it also got laggier for some reason. This is the file select menu. You have, I think, 3, maybe 4 save files, and the one that I usually use is in the very middle. If you click on it, it makes a did-did noise, and there's a few things you can do. If you go up and to the right, that's the back button, if you ever want to choose a different file. The button right here in the middle is the play button. There's also a delete button, which I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's... oh, I just pressed the play button. There's a button here And I think... No, this one was the change your player name thing. Basically, whenever you make a new file, it'll ask you to label your file, just like it does in Fever. You can choose between a bunch of different names. That button is over there on the bottom right. And you choose a name, tap it, and it makes that doo-dee-doo noise. Now, I don't know where the delete button is. If you press the change name button by mistake, you can press the back button. Back buttons are usually on the top right corner for me. And it makes the ring. That's still the play button. It's very big. The play button's very big. I don't know where it is. Is it this one? No, it's... I think it is. Yeah. It must be this one. So, it's further... It's closer to the middle. It's on the right, but it's closer to the middle instead of near the bottom. And if you ever go into this screen and you accidentally click yes, your file's gone. It's a yes or no question. And you can go back and it makes a noise instead of the dream like it normally does, which is kind of odd. Okay, so that's all you can do in the file select menu. And if you ever want to make your own, make a new file, it'll first ask you for your label, and then it'll ask you if you're ready to play, and you press the yes button, which is somewhere on the bottom for me. But I'm just gonna load into my file. Get ready to be loud. Whoa, this is an incomplete file. Interesting. That's not the file I want, but at least I could show off this music for a little bit. I'm gonna reset. There, that's my real file. Now, that was a perfect attempt noise, because I still have perfect attempts left on this file that I don't think I'll ever do. You can hear the little click, 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 click of the flow counter still going, so if I press the screen now, it'll do that, which is usually what it does when you end a game. Now, this music is always very loud, but it's amazing. I love it. I need to figure out where I am on the screen, so... The way the game select screen works in this game is it's set up in a row of 3 by 6. There are 3 rows and 6 columns per... No, it's 5 actually. Wait, no, it is 6. Never mind, it is 6. So you can have 18 things on the screen at once. And basically, the ones in the corners are the most interesting because when you start out, you'll only get the middle. For people playing normally, it would be the middle bottom to top. For me, it would be the middle right here. Every time you click on something, it makes a click, and it makes an opening noise when you let go. And if you ever click on somewhere where there is nothing, it makes that noise, making it so you can hear when it closes. If you ever click on the same thing twice, it'll open. The only exception to this are the side buttons. There, those buttons. If you click on them, it makes that noise, which you might be familiar with from Tengoku. So, when you hear that noise and you lift your mouse away, move it somewhere else, it won't activate. Just like any other button. Now, what I infer from this information is that the side buttons being on the right side of the screen, for me, means that the move icon will also be on this side of the screen. Because, see, the way the game works, the way the screen works, is you can move this move icon around the corners of the screen, the edges, if you will, and it will give you access to specific parts of the screen. So, if I go further up, there's a side icon there, and if I go lower down, which is row 3, I'll eventually find... not that. I just entered the cafe. Didn't mean to do that. This thing. This is the move icon. You can tell because when you click on it, it makes a different noise. And the way you access specific things is by dragging this around. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to drag it to the middle, roughly. Now, if I tap it, you'll see that it's right here in the middle. Of course, it will only move to any of the arbitrary positions. You can even move it to the middle of the screen, which makes it very hard to locate things. I'd recommend you only move it to the edges, so the left corner, the right corner, somewhere over there. Now, if you do something like you drag it all the way down, it makes a doo kind of noise, meaning that you bounced it off the screen and it rebounds and relocates itself. And I'm going to move it back to where it was. There. So now it's in the middle. This is how you start out. So rows 1, 2, and 3 are now visible. Now here's the way it works. Row 1 is in the middle. Row 2, if you're playing normally, would be to the left of it, and row 3 would be to the right of it, I think, if I'm getting this right. The way it works for me is that row 1 is in the middle, going from right to left, row 2 is on the bottom, row 3 is on the top. Now, to access row 4, you find the move icon and drag it all the way to the other side of the screen. There. Now, you'll see that the move icon has changed positions to the left. And the move icon on the left means that the side screens, these, are also on the left. This arrangement makes it so that row 4, 5, and 6 is visible in the same way. So, 4 is in the middle, 5 is on the bottom, and 6 is on the top. Okay, now, what if you want to move to 7, 8, 9, or 10? This is where it gets complicated. You move it back to the right, and you move the move icon up. This means that row 7 will take the place of row 2. So this means, if you look at it this way, row 7 is on the very bottom, and you can still see in the middle and on the top, you'll see row 2 and row 1. If I get this right. Let me see. If I touch a game in the top corner and click on it, that doesn't give me that much information, so let me go through the tutorial and see exactly which game it is. That's Philbots. Okay, this might be a good time for me to talk about the pause menu. The only button that actually works in the game is the start button, except for the L and R for Rockers 2, but that doesn't really count. And in the pause menu, you can tap right there to quit, or go further down to return. I'm going to go back here and quit. So, row 1 is on the top now, row 2 is in the middle, and row 7 is on the bottom. Let me demonstrate. And this, if I get it right, is Frog Hop 2. That is correct. So, row 7. Now, to go to row 8, you move the move icon to the top instead of the bottom. So, you grab it. I'm trying to find it still. Wait, it's not there. Why is it not letting me see the rest of the screen? What's this? Wait, that's not right. What's that? I think the move icon's odd. I think I must have moved it somewhere in between. There. I moved it a little bit to the right. Okay, so it was on the top right. Now I'm going to move it to the bottom right. Remember, the way this works is you move it in the opposite direction to where you want to find the row you're looking for. So, if you want to go to row 7, you drag it to the top right corner and you find row 7 on the bottom. If you want to find row 8, you move it to the bottom right and you find row 8 on the top corner. So if I go here, is this what I think it is? Yes, it is. I just can't resist. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Sorry, I just had to. Okay, so, row 8 is there. So, no, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Row 1 and 2, no, 1 and 3 are visible on the bottom and the middle. So just entered built to scale by mistake. You'll be fumbling around a lot if you don't use save states. I'm going to tell you this right now, and even I'm doing that. There's the move icon. Now, to access row 9 and 10, you do the same thing except you move it towards the other side. So left and top gives you row 9 on the bottom, not that. We'll get that later. I'm gonna explore those in a minute. Now remember, the games go from left to right like this, so you have to kind of adjust your thing. What's this game? Is that Space Soccer 2? Yes, it is. So, yes, that's row 9, and to go to row 10, you move the move icon to the bottom left, and you find them. I'm just making sure that it was on the complete left side, and if I go... No. I told you I'm gonna get to those later. Sometimes if you don't click on an icon head-on, it won't open. Din 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 din. Good of a demonstration as any. I think this is Splashdown 2, if I remember right. Yes. Okay. So, that's how the rows work. Now, this also means that when you rotate the screen like this, you'll also get different icons on the side. You can only have 2 of them, and there are 4 of them in total. So, let's explore them all. I'm going to move the move icon to the right, just so it's still here. And I'm going to click on what is essentially the most bottom one that you can get, which is now it's in the middle. This is, if you were to be playing this, this icon would be the most, I don't actually know. Would it be the most left or the most right icon on the screen? I don't actually know. But you can only access it if the move icon is somewhere on the... Well, for me it would be the bottom. For you, I think it would be... For anyone else playing, I think it would be on the very left? I don't actually know. This is the Battle of the Band screen. You have two buttons in here, and basically it's like a guitar lesson thing, except you play every single song in order and you get judged. I'm not going to talk about this much, but... Oh, I just accidentally entered one of the two things. I'm going to quit. And the back button, as I said, is always on the top right, for me. And on the top, the second icon above this is... not that. Oh, can I stop clicking on stuff that I don't want to? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the middle icon is what I'm actually after. What is the middle icon? The middle icon is the cafe. Okay. Interesting. So that's the most top one. So the cafe is a little bit expanded from what it used to be. There's 4 things you can do. First thing is to talk to the barista, just have random stuff to say. And for some reason, the cafe is the only place where you can skip text very quickly like that. There's 3 other things you can do. There is the read something screen, which allows you to read things that you've received from perfect attempts. Unlike Tengoku, though, you have to click on stuff to figure out what you want to read. And I don't actually know how the screen works. There is also a... not that. There is also a music screen. The way this works is very similar to how the reading screen works. You click on things, and you eventually listen to music by clicking on different things. Now, the way this works is there's a bunch of track icons, and then if you go far enough to left or right, I'm holding the button down now and it's scrolling. It's basically page flip, so if I go to the left or to the right the most, it will start, like, flipping pages. And of course, there's a bunch of things in here that I can't click on because they're not locked, because they're not unlocked. First few times you hold it down, it doesn't scroll very quickly. Since I don't have everything perfect in this game, I won't be able to access most of the tracks. So that's how that works. And the fourth option, which is all the way on the right, is flicking practice. The thing that you get treated to at the very beginning of your save file before you get to the main screen. You know, the thing where you can actually press the button instead of using the mouse. Let me show you. This is how much lag I have with the keyboard. It's barely anything. Now, if I touch the screen with the mouse, it's a bit more. And if I just press B, flicks. I can also do this with the mouse. If I don't flick fast enough, it does that. So you can flick with the mouse, yes, but it's inefficient, especially when playing Remix 8. So that's the cafe. The cafe has grown quite a bit since last time we've seen it. I didn't mean to click on that. Back button, please. These buttons are huge. There. Okay, so now I'm going to move the move icon to the other side and show you the other two. So now if I go to the bottom and click on the side icon here, this is the most top side icon. Or, wait, I don't actually know which way we're going. It's very confusing because like, There's 4 of them in total. This is the side game. This is the Air Border credits game. No music, which is very weird. Okay. And finally we come to the biggest screen of all of them. If I go all the way to the middle of the screen and click on the side icon here, this is what I call, or what is actually known as, the metal corner. Basically, the guitar lessons, endless games, and rhythm toys have been consolidated into this one icon, which means there are 4 submenus. Again, laid out in a left to right list. So if I click on the left one, it is endless games. Now, unlike, or a little bit like the listen to music and read stuff screens in the cafe, the way the games work is you tap on them and they make a noise, a little bit like in Rhythm Tengoku. And then, if you want to play one, you tap on the bottom right corner of the screen. There. Rhythm Heaven DS has... Let's see, how many endless games does it have? It has Coin Toss, Shoot 'em Up, Endless, Tunnel, Glass Tappers, Samurai Slice, Rhythm Move Dungeon. Am I forgetting something? I think that's all it has. So it has 6, but that's a lot, actually, come to think of it. And just like any other screen, you can get out by going there. Next is Rhythm Toys. I must admit, I really like the Rhythm Toys music in this game. The way the Rhythm Toys work is that there's actually a page scroll button because it can't fit as many items on the screen. There's 7 of them. So if you go far enough to the right... Oh, it infinitely scrolls! That's funny. Why does it do that, though? There's also a page scroll on the left as well. And if you move too far up, it'll go back instead. And if you go a little bit further to the right on the screen, you'll find the guitar lessons, which use the same music as the one you find in Rhythm Tengoku for the drum lessons, except they have English numbers, and they also have a cool little guitar solo thing after this repetition. They also do this, which the Rhythm Tengoku one doesn't do. Here's the guitar bit. So yes, anyway, this screen is divided into 2. There's 2 screens, one slightly to the like less to the right and one more to the right, which is screens 3 and 4 of the metal corner. One of them is for the basic courses and the other one is for the technical courses. There's 4 songs in each one. Again, same thing applies. Click on one, press the bottom right, and it opens. And I think that's it. I went through most of the menus, very slowly I might add. One last thing that I want to show is, just in case you want to play a game, like, say I wanted to play DJ School, I'm going to move the move icon back to where it was, not there. And no, I'm not going to play Air Border, I'm going to actually commit myself to finding the correct game. So, find the move icon, move it to the middle, there. There it is, and I'm going to move it to the left, and I'm going to find game number 2, which should be... There it is, DJ School. Now say you wanted to skip the tutorial, which you very often do, you press the bottom left corner. There. And now you're in.
Break, come on. Ooh. Let's go.
I haven't played this game in forever.
Let's go.
Check it out. Scratcho, hey.
Let's go. Oh yeah.
And stop. Ooh. Scratcho, hey. Din 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 din. Break. Come on. Ooh.
Yeah.
Scratcho, hey. Break. Come on. Scratcho, hey.
Check it out.
Okay, that's that. Now, I could go into the rhythm toys in a bit more detail, but I really don't want to, because that's like really side content stuff. If you can actually set the screen up to the way that you can actually read text, you might even be able to OCR things. I'm just gonna quickly do one final thing, and that is to move the move icon back to where it was. And I'm gonna play this game. Not this game. That's not the game I wanted. Neither this, but it'll do. You know what, I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm probably just going to Alt F4 out of it when I'm done talking, because I want to tell you a few more things. First of all, perfect attempts. Well, actually, no, this is probably the only thing I want to talk about. So, perfect attempts. The way perfect attempts work is just about as annoying as it is in Rhythm Tengoku. You get a text dialogue, which you've seen plenty of while I was moving around, because, of course, when you pause and quit out of a game, it will still, count as a game. And the only way to figure out where it is if you either rotate it into the correct position so you can actually read it, or, like I did, I would turbo through every single game, and whenever I heard the noise, the signature noise that it makes when you miss the perfect attempt, I'd reload my save state, and that's how I would do perfect attempts. It's really annoying, but it is a thing. And if you had the Lewis script enabled, like I did when I was doing this back in 2019, and you had a computer that actually supported it well enough, you could quite easily, basically leave your imaginary D-pad cursor on the screen at a specific point, and then move it up, down, left, or right, and you could find all the games that way without you having to click around and move your thing around, because you'd basically have two cursors. One, which was your mouse cursor, could stay on the skip tutorial button. You would just hammer your mouse button down when you started a game and it would make the dit noise. And the other cursor was the one you controlled with a D-pad, which you could use to find specific games on the screen. It wasn't a perfect solution, but that's what I used to do. I don't really know if I want to do perfect attempts now, especially considering that I don't even know how many perfect attempts I've even done on the save file as it is. So that is that. I think that's all I want to talk about. So it's been a very long video. I know it really shouldn't be this long, but I hope you've enjoyed just as much as I had making it, and maybe one day I'll return to Rhythm Heaven DS and play another flavor of it, because I don't know how much anyone knows, but I actually played Rhythm Tengoku Gordo alongside Rhythm Heaven DS, the English one, when I was doing my YouTube playthrough. I actually had two save files, one for the Japanese version and one for the English version, and I already beat the Japanese one in advance, just remembering how to do things as I was going through the YouTube playthrough. Now, someone recently found the Korean ROM for the game, so maybe one day I'll look at that and see how that plays, because I am a little bit interested in the dub, especially for music like Karate Man and Fan Club and other things. So yes, that was very unprofessional, very kind of everything all over the place recording, but I hope you've enjoyed. and I'll see you sometime later.